Hello, sir. This is Nabil Parmar, C092. My project is about inventory management system. This system provides any form of functionality that enables them to keep a track of their goods and orders across the supply chain. It also plays a vital role in taking care of all small business needs, including sales and accounting, and can even help multiple users to handle their workflow efficiently. The admin can manage multiple users and assign them appropriate role and permissions to work parallelly in the system. The firm can manage or store their vendor, shipment, bill, customers, and warehouse records, which in turn gets processed by the system to get an analytical view of the progress in the market, and the system can alert or suggest at an appropriate time. So the system is mainly divided into five modules. First, sales module, which deals with the data of sales of various products of the inventory. Second, purchase module, which deals with the data of purchase of various products of the inventory. And the third one is inventory, which deals with the products available in the inventory. Fourth module, config module. So this module plays a vital role in terms of implementation and features reachability. Using features provided by this module, the firm can make the system more reliable and efficient according to their needs and priority and can take the maximum advantage of it. The last but not the least, users module. So this module deals with the different users of the system. As mentioned in the SRS, we have categorized the users into two categories, admin and employees. Employees could be the user who work with the system in the limit of permissions granted by the admin. Also, admin can take the full ownership of the system and can change the assigned roles to any user along with other tweaks of the system. All right. So as you can see here, these are the dependencies of the system. Uh, yes, the project is on working on Microsoft Netcore 2.0. Also, we have some other packages like ASP Netcore tools and EF framework. And yeah, the most important is this SendGrid package, uh, which is the cloud-based email service provider that I have set up for this project. And in case of any new user registration and forgot password functionalities, the email will be sent to the user with an appropriate steps to follow. Along with that, these are the options that I can tweak with it. And also along with that, the SMTP Gmail service is also working. So by setting this is default Boolean value, let's say I am setting this value as true. So my system will work with SendGrid API and it will not work with this SMTP. So I can play with it. Let's say I make it false and this SMTP option as true. So the email will be sent by the Gmail. Okay. Let and etc. Also, this identity default options are there. So I can change with it according to my uh, need. For now, I have kept this as password requirement as 6 and non-numeric alpha and etc. etc. Okay. Yes. Also, these cookies are enabled and so on. Next, we have this SQL Server database, and these are the tables needed for the system. Okay. The database is fully normalized and can be broadly, yeah, we can take the maximum advantage to enable any feature in the system. Along with that, uh, not to mention, but we have used this kind of attributes like allow anonymous, validate anti-forgery, HTTP post, and etc. Okay, so next in the project structure, we have this www root folder. So it has all the CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap library files necessary for the front end. Next, we have this controllers folder. So it also has this API subfolder, which mainly deals with the database CRUD operations, and these APIs are used by these controllers. Okay, and the main advantage of subgrouping these APIs and controllers are, let's say I want to make change onto this home controller function on this contact function. Okay, so I won't have to necessarily go through the API's code once again. I will have to just focus on the actual code that I want to change. So yes, these are the controllers and APIs. Next, we have this data folder. It has this application DB context file and DB initializer. Next, these extensions are extensions and helper folder contains all the helper functions for necessary for the services and controllers. Next, we have models. So these are the models. So they are same as that of these tables. And next we have these services, email services, SendGrid options, etc. And these are the views necessary for the project. And also the views which are same. By same, what I mean is, let's say we have the same header and footer for the normal users, and we have the same header and footer for the admin users. Okay, so they are shared into this shared folder. And yes, so the project is very well modularized, and it has the very maintainable code so that we can easily maintain and extend it in the future as well. So yes, now let's have a look at the actual working of the project in the browser. Yeah, so let me show you some of the users that I have created. So yes, these are the two users that I have created in the database, and we'll use them to demonstrate the functionalities. Also, we are storing the password hash, so the password is encrypted and cannot be seen directly from the database. By the time it gets loaded, let me brief you about the SendGrid API. So here is my SendGrid account, and I'm using this API key IMS, and this is the API key that I wrote over there in the application config file. Okay, so now we have got our application up and running. So email and password are already filled. I kept it this way so that I won't have to fill it again and again. Next, we have this remember me functionality. When we click it, the cookie is enabled and we can log in within the expiration time period of the cookie. Also, next we have this signing using Facebook and Google Plus functionality. So we can use this feature to register our account, but the actual system does not demand this functionality because we have given these features to manage and manipulate users by the admin only. So in our system, the admin only will manipulate the actual employees and users, but still uh, we have provided this functionality. Now let's just try to log in with incorrect credentials. So yes, we got invalid login attempt. Okay, now let's try to log in with correct credentials. We'll try to log in with admin account first. Okay, so we got our dashboard. Okay, so now we'll see the working of each and every modules in step by step, and along with some zigzag pattern, we'll see the working of every modules, because the modules are very much interrelated and we need to provide the data inside one module to use it inside another. And according to my observation from the market, the firms are using different values for their customer types, sales types, vendor types, purchase types, bill, branch, okay, invoice types, etc. So they are not necessarily same for each and every firm or company in the market. And since I wanted to make this system more generic and generous, I kept it this way so that they can add up their values inside this customer types, sales types, and invoice types, etc. And they can easily add or modify the values and can easily add up the system. Uh, so this features provides the maximum efficiency to them. So now we'll see the working of sales module. So first of all, we have this customer type. As mentioned earlier, these customer types can be different for each firm, and they can manage their different customer types records inside this menu. So as we can see here, we have these two demo records. The first is demo customer type 2 and its description. So description helps employees that this customer type can be used for those customers who are related to this description. Next we have this record. So by clicking over this plus button, we can add the record about this uh, customer type. Now we can even edit it. Let me make it to customer type 3. Yeah, it got updated. We can delete it. We can search about it. Yes, so we got our record with the keyword ASD. We can also filter in ascending or descending order. We can use some text filters and etc. can be performed. Next, we have this customer menu. So as we can see here, inside this menu, we can manage our customer records. As we can see, we presently have 19 records inserted in the database. Let me just go ahead and open. Yeah, so we have this customer name, customer type, and its various details. So we can save it, we can edit, we can delete, we can search about it. Again, we can use the filters to sort it according to different needs, right? We just sorted it in ascending order. We can even print and can save the data in PDF format. Yeah, let me just save onto the desktop. Replace. Yes, so we got this PDF. Yeah, so these are the datas. Next, we have these sales types. So as mentioned earlier, these sales types are different for different companies, and for demo, these two values are added. Again, we can add, delete, update, search, or filter on it. Next, we have the sales order menu. So we can manage our sales details inside the sales order menu. So we can provide the details about various products purchased inside this sales module. Let's just say this was sold to this customer, order date, we are expecting the delivery by this date. We have this sales type. We remember that we added the sales types inside this sales types menu. Okay, so we got these values from this table. Next, this currency, as mentioned earlier, I haven't added all the configuration values, so that's why it's null. We can add different currency and we can use it. Next, this current reference, save. Yeah, so it got added. And we can edit, delete, search, and filter on it. Next, we have this shipment. So we can manage shipment records, add, delete, update. And these are the attributes of the record: warehouse, demo, shipment, details, etc. Okay, so next we have this invoice menu. We can manage our invoice record inside this menu. Let me just go ahead and fill out these dummy details. Invoice types. So again, these values are coming from this invoice type, which I have configured. Yeah, this is here it is, invoice types. Yeah, here it is inside config module. Okay, next we have this payment receive. So we can manage our payment receive records in this menu. So these are the attributes of the record: payment type, payment date, invoice, and we can add, delete, update, search about it, print it, etc. Okay, so next we have the purchase module. So this module mainly deals with the purchase records of the inventory. The very first menu that we have is vendor type. So this menu, using this menu, we can add up our vendor type, and this is that generic functionality given to the company, and they can add up their different vendor types according to their needs. The default demo vendor type, let's just go ahead and select it to 2. Yeah, it got updated. Again, we can add, delete, and perform several CRUD operations as mentioned before. Next, we have this vendor menu. So here we can actually manipulate our vendor records. Here we can see that we have added 17 demo records. By clicking on this arrow button, I can go ahead and watch next. Again, we can edit it. Let's just select it to vendor type 2, update, and yeah, it got updated. Again, we can add, create, delete, search. So next we have this purchase type. It is same as that of before that I mentioned, the generic functionality given to the company. Okay, next we have this purchase order. So we can manipulate our purchase records inside this menu. The different fields are this branch, vendor, from which vendor we purchase, okay, the order date and expected delivery date, purchase type, let's say the purchase type is default, currently, etc. And yeah, it got added. Next we have this goods received node. So inside this we can manipulate our goods records which are received, and we can mention some details about it, from which vendor we got it, the receiving date, etc. And yes, in which warehouse the goods are kept. Okay, next we have this bill menu. So we can manipulate our bill records, which invoice belong to this bill, and bill date, bill due date, bill type. Let me just update it to bare mobile type. Yeah, it got updated. Again, we can edit, delete, search, etc. And last menu inside this module is payment voucher. So we can manipulate our payment voucher details, payment date, type, source, and the amount. Okay, and again we can perform several CRUD operations along with search and filter. Okay, so the next module is inventory. So this module mainly deals with the products that are available in our inventory. Uh, these are the several products dummy names. We can see here we have total 20 products. The first is chai, and these are the just dummy names. We can perform add, edit, delete operations. Let me just go ahead and add any product. Let's say laptop. The unit of measurement is PCs. We can add a barcode and description. Buying price, let's say 20,000, and selling is 25,000. I can set the branch and currency value. Okay, so it got added now. We can perform some of the operations like filter and search. We can even print it. And next, these two options, product type and unit of measures, are the config parameters used by this uh, product menu. So earlier I added this kg unit of measure, and we then selected this unit of measure for this chai. Okay, so it got added now. Yes, the same for this product type. Again, the company can manage their various product types and perform several CRUD operations along with search and the filter functionality. Okay, so next we have this config module. So this module mainly deals with the uh, config parameters of the system, and it has a vital role in terms of implementation and as well as feature reachability. So using features provided by this module, the firm can make the system more reliable and efficient according to their needs and priorities. So let's just go ahead and explore their options. The first is currency. So our inventory, let's say our company can deal with multiple sources of income and sales. So we can manage their records into uh, different currency. So we can add up the currency types. The first we can default add it. The second is INR type. Next is Canadian dollar, etc. And yes, so we can add the various currencies over here and can perform several uh, CRUD operations along with search and filter. So next we have this branch option. So our firm can have several branch in several address at several city and state. So we can add those details inside this module. Let's say this branch is added. Its description. Let me just update it. Yeah, it deals with the Indian rupee currency and several other details. Let me just go ahead and save it. So yes, we got our updated description. We can follow other several CRUD operations on it. Next, we have this warehouse details. So our one branch can have multiple warehouse. So we can add these details inside this warehouse menu. So let's say this A warehouse belongs to this branch A. We can even change the brand. If you can remember, then we just added the branch A inside this branch menu. So we can select it from here. Let me just change it to default. Okay. So same way we can follow several CRUD operations along with search and filter. Next we have the cache bank option. So this option again is given to the company to make the system more generic. They can add up their cache and bank account details and along with some description. Next we have this config parameters, payment type, shipment type, invoice type, and bill type. So this can be different, this can vary with different companies and they can manage it over here. Payment type, then shipment type, invoice type, and bill type. So those are very much similar. Again, these are the data that I have added in advance just to keep the video short and sweet. Invoice details, and last we have this bill type. Okay, so next we have this users module. So this module mainly deals with the different users of the system. And as mentioned in the SRS, we have categorized the users into two categories. The first is admin and second is employees. So the employees could be the user who work with the system in the limit of permissions granted by the admin. So we can play with their roles, we can change their roles, and we can change the password of any user, we can create any user, update their details, etc. can be performed inside this module. So let's just go ahead and select this users menu. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I have created this many users. So the first is admin of the system and the second two are the employees and which are active, currently active. So we can try to add new user. So this functionality can be used when any new user is joining our company. So we can add his or her account. We can give them password to use it. Cool. So we have added this test to user. We can update his details, first name, last name, etc. Next, we have this change password functionality. So using this, we can change the password for any users. This is only accessible since we have logged in as an admin. So let me just try to update the password for this. Nice. So we have updated the password. Next, we have this roles. Okay, so inside this, we can add or describe our different roles of the system, and we can assign these roles, these defined roles, to any employees of the system. Okay, so at present we have the 30 roles, and these roles belongs to these modules and its distinct functionalities. Let's say this invoice. So using this invoice role, we can grant any user the functionality to manage the invoice records. Okay, and this way we can search, say, search about sales. Yeah, we got sales order and type. We can print it, we can add, delete. Okay, and next we have this change role functionality. So here we can use the previous roles, that those 30 roles that we have created. So we can assign the few set of roles to any user. Okay, so Let me just try to assign this invoice role to this user. Next, this shipment type I'm assigning. Cool. So we have saved it. As we can see here, I have added this invoice and shipment type only. Okay, so apart from these two, when the user try to access any of this menu, he will not be able to access it and he will logged out of the system. So yes, that is it about this system. And last but not the least, the profile section. So we can manage our email, first name, last name. We can change the password, etc. We can edit our profile inside this section this way, super admin, etc. And we can even change the profile picture. So let me just try to change it. Yes. Yes, so the status is done. We have uploaded the profile picture onto the server, and this can be seen over here inside this www root folder and upload folder. This was the previous image, and yeah, here is the image that I updated, but because of this Visual Studio, it is not properly visible. Yeah, okay. So that is it about the admin functionality. Now we will try to log in as an employee and we'll demonstrate these functionalities. Okay, so let's now try to log in as an employee. We'll use the test account that we have created. Password. Okay, so we have landed onto the profile section. So again, the similar functionalities given to the admin can be used by this employee as well. This user profile picture changing and email edit profile, etc. So out of this modules, this sales, purchase, and config modules, we only assign two functionalities. That is this invoice and the shipment type. Okay, so this test user can only deal with invoice as well as ship payment type. So let's just try to access the invoice page. Yes, so as we earlier assigned this invoice functionality, invoice permission to this user, so we can easily access and we can perform the CRUD operations mentioned earlier. And now when we try to access any other functionalities, we will be redirected to the access denied page and will be logged out of the system. Okay, so let's just click on any random product type. Yes, we got this access denied, and I can see this message: you don't have any access to this resource. So yes, we logged out of the system. So now we'll have to log in again, and we can perform the similar functionalities using this employee account. Okay, so now we'll see the forgot password demo. Let me just click on it. Okay, so it is asking for our email, registered email. I earlier created this account which I showed you, and I'm using his email to get the reset password link. Yes, so internally it will try to find this account with this email ID, and it will send an email only if the user is present and active. So yes, we can see, please check your email to reset your password. So yes, we can try to refresh our email account. Yes, we have got it, but unfortunately it is inside this promotion folder 0 minutes ago. AMS system, and this is the email ID that I am using to send the email using SendGrid. This account, this API I am using to send an email. So yes, please reset your password by clicking here. The link is given. Let's just click on it, and it will redirect us to the update password page. Nice. So we can change it using this form. Um, click on reset. So yeah, your password has been reset, and click here to log in again. So we have reset our password successfully. Okay, so the last functionality that I want to mention is cookies. By clicking on this remember me, I can enable the cookies, and we'll try to log in. So yes, we have got into the system. Now we can see using this developer tools that our cookies are stored inside this browser. Yeah, inside this application tab and cookies, we have got these three cookies stored. The first is identity, second is anti-forgery token, and the last is this G stating, and that is for geolocation of the user. Okay, so let me just close the browser, and we'll try to access the site again. Okay, so as we can see here, we have landed onto the user profile directly. So that means the cookies are working perfectly fine. So now we'll try to log in without that checking of remember be boolean. So we are not touching it for this case. I just try to sign in. Let's just close the browser, reopen it. And open it again. So yeah, we got the login screen. That means the cookies were not stored, and we need to log in order to get into the system. So yes, the cookies are working perfectly fine. Next, we have this return URL. By authenticating the user, this return URL function, this return URL is embedded by the MVC on its own, and user can play with it and can use their uh, own return URL over here by changing it, and can even break the system. But I have handled this case, and to handle it, I can show it here. So this is a function that deals with this return URL. So the function is private, which is because it is internally used only. And again, I am checking here that only if the return URL is local, then and only then redirect to that return URL, or else redirect to home screen only. I mean the home controller only. So next, this home controller can deal with appropriate logic. If the cookies are stored, then it will uh, take user to the dashboard page, or else it will redirect to the login page. So yeah, that is it. And last but not the least, I want to mention about the responsiveness of the website. So as we can see here, let me try to resize the window. So as we can see here, none of the fields or tables are cut, and they are very well organized, and they are responsive according to the window size. And next, yes, here it is, the sidebar. So we can play with it. Okay, so this way the system works, and I hope I have tried my best to explain about each and every point in as much detail as I can. And yeah, so that is it. Thank you so much.